Well, today I'm going to tell you a story about Gabriela. Gabriela is a poor black woman from the north of Brazil, from Amazonas. That's a quite isolated state there. And that makes her not a really privileged person. So she was pregnant. She was 22 years old. She started to feel some pain. She got her vision blurred. And she decided to go to the hospital because it could be something wrong with her baby. And when she got there, her pressure was really high, and they decided to take her to the obstetrical center. By the time she got there, she was still in pain, and they decided to argue if she had the right to use her insurance. She was left there alone in a cold hammock without her husband, even though our law makes it obligatory. And the doctor and the woman from the hospital were discussing about it as if she was not even there. They decided to make a cesarean section when they figured out it was not going to be possible to make her transference. And they tied her. They tied her arms. They tied her legs. And she does not know until now why they did it. Because in fact, she was not feeling her body. She was not thinking about anything. Well, she got some problems and she had some sight issues until now. But the thing is, it was the first case I got. It was the first time I heard about obstetric violence in my work in Brazil. And by that time, some years ago, I didn't know that it was a big problem. In fact, it seemed to me that it was a one-off case, because how could I possibly imagine that a doctor that is prepared to take care of people would do harm to someone, especially a pregnant woman, especially a woman that is in the most vulnerable time of her life. My friend, when he got me the case, told me I was supposed to archive it. But how would I say no to that woman after all those things she has been through? I was not able. In fact, as a human being, I was not able to do it. And I decided to take a look, but I decided to get some information from the government at the first time, but the government said it was okay. All the procedures were correct. The doctors and the other professionals, they were doing the best. And well, I have a law degree. How would I know? I got the information, I analyzed it, and when I was almost closing the case, I received some women. Some are seniors now, and they asked me for a public audience. They wanted to be heard. They wanted to tell their stories. And why not? I have nothing to lose. I wanted to understand what was happening. And I called that audience, and it was really surprising when I got there, and there was 150 people and lots of women. It was shocking because they are there crying, yelling, telling all the things that they have suffered, and it was a lot. They received some massage in the genitals without knowing, without being warned, without allowing. They heard that they were wrong, they were not appropriated to the birth, they were not, they were killing their kids. They hear this. And I got shocked, and I didn't know what to do. By the end of the hearing, I heard doctors saying that it was not a problem. We were talking about obstetric violence, but there was no woman there with injuries. That was not possible. There was no violence. Doctors are not violent. Well, I'm not talking about only a doctor problem. I need to say that nurses, midwives, everywhere, they have their problems. Even here, But it seemed clear to me that the problem there was huge. And it was really shocking that the women, by the end of that hearing, they were crying outside of the room. And I got, well, Jesus, what happened? Why are you crying? And they were glad because they were heard. So what could I do? I decided to bring together all people I could possibly think that could help me. So I brought the government, I got the women that talked to me because I want to understand their perspective. I talked to the doctors, the nurses, the police, the Department of Health. I wanted to understand and I wanted to know what they were doing about it, if they could by that time realize we had a problem. And in fact, they thought it was a one-off case, that was not a problem. And the Department of Health invited me to talk about it inside the hospitals. They wanted to talk to the professionals to see how it was day by day. And it was shocking again. I don't know what other word I could use, because I heard professionals, I had in this case a doctor saying that it's in the Bible. Women are supposed to feel pain, to give birth in pain. That the doctors know what's good for them. They don't have to yell, they don't have to scream. By the time they made the kid, they were not screaming, they were enjoying. So we had a big problem. We still have a big problem. But we decided to do something. We had to do something. I provoked some educational programs. I provoked some courses, some stuff to sensitize people, not only the professionals, but also to educate women about their rights. Because we have so many reports there. We have like 150 reports only in Amazonas about cases with pregnant women. But we don't know the proportion of it, because every time we talk about those kind of abuses, new cases show up. New women realize that they were victims as well. So now we are trying, every year we try to create new things. Every year we try to do new activities. We are always trying to reach new spaces. Well, I talked to Gabriela before I came here. I asked her permission to talk about her story, and she thanked me a lot. And the truth is, Gabriela's story started a revolution. And I always repeat this because it was her courage that made me be here today to develop all this work. And if I can leave a message to you here, is that it's always possible to bring about change. And it always starts with listening. We share the pain, but we also constructed a solution. We are not even close to the system we want for our women, but we are moving. We keep moving. So I'd like to thank you for listening to me.